Oh my goodness, look at these cool little pointy houses. And look at this perfect couch here for me to sit on. And look at my sweet bike, the infamous Sophia Rose. I love you, Sophia Rose. Astrology. Fuck yes. Now, my friend Sam always says you should pay attention to what it is that you choose to do in your free time, and that this will be a really great clue for your true heart's desire. And I've found over the past 2 years that what I've been doing in my free time is studying astrology, and I love it. And I know a lot of astrologers get caught up in justifying astrology as valid, and I have absolutely no desire to do that. Because, baby, we ain't shifting paradigms. We paradigm shifted. What I would like to do is just celebrate some of the reasons why, for me, astrology is such a beautiful and rewarding modality. Part of this is a cosmological perspective, where we understand archetypes to be interwoven in the very fabric that is reality and the cosmos. And the way that I think about the planets in terms of this perspective is similar to how Einstein explained space-time. And he said that the universe is indeed a fabric. You can think about holding a blanket or a sheet, holding all four corners of it. And if you put a ball on this blanket, the ball would curve the sheet. And Einstein used this to explain the curve of space-time, that it's actually the weight and the shape of the planet that curves time to exist in a certain experience on that planet. And then we can take that one step further and understand that the gravity that we hold as creatures is also curving this same fabric of space-time, so that our experience of gravity is in a certain sense determined by our own physical mass. This is also why I think insects have perhaps evolved to higher dimensions, because literally the same density and pull of gravity that we feel being human beings is completely different for them, that they actually barely experience gravity at all. This is why bugs continuously fly into light bulbs, because they don't have gravity telling them which way is down. So they're used to just thinking that the sun is up, and they'll be flying into that same light bulb over and over, thinking that they're flying up and away from whatever it is that's holding them. So if you think about the different mass of a planet curving space-time, and then you think about archetypes woven into this same fabric, it's almost like these planets are curving the archetypal field to create different harmonic notes. So that actually the planets in our solar system are curving the archetypal field, are pulling in the gravity of a certain archetypal note into being, into expression. And because they're near us, because we are in the same ecosystem as these planets, they are what is most immediate in our archetypal environment. This is why when planets come back around, they're literally gravitationally calling in, gravitationally charging, gravitationally activating that archetypal reality within us. Another understanding of this perspective is that the universe is expressing itself as itself all the time, so that the very moment that you were born is an expression of the entire cosmos, that you are literally a fingerprint, a snapshot of the universe at the exact moment and place that you were born. And this goes to large scales like the solar system, which is where astrology spends its time. It also goes to the very room that you were born in, where other healing modalities like rebirthing spend their time, and understanding that who is in the room when you were born, the feelings that your father, your doctor, your midwife, your mother were having are also expressed in that beautiful templating moment of your birth. And recently, I've been playing with this idea that I call metaphoric double dutch. So an astrologer who I love, Carolyn Casey, who has a show she calls the Visionary Activist Show, says that you can think about the world symbolically, so that you can be sweeping the past out as you sweep the floor, that you can experience synchronicity in your life and the type of tree that you notice, the type of bird that flies by, the type of person that comes into your life. You can interpret this symbolically in order to inform your life and in order to feel that the universe is alive and responsive, giving you clues and signposts to help you along with your evolutionary journey. My massage teacher, Dan, who I also have infinite respect for, we went together to a fire ceremony at an ashram, and he suggested that instead of metaphorically and cognitively trying to understand symbol and telling yourself something like the fire is like spirit, the fire is like spirit, you should be able to collapse the mental process that interpreting symbol takes and able to step into the embodied knowing that the fire is spirit. Fire is spirit. When you go swimming, don't say the water has healing qualities. Don't say the water is like healing. Say the water is healing. Feel that water on your skin. Feel it healing you in that moment. And why I call this metaphoric double dutch is because I think that you can play both. You can interweave both. Sometimes we need metaphor as a step to get closer to isness. We need to be able to say that the fire is like spirit before we can feel the fire as spirit. And that together, this can give you a dramatically rich and profound experience of being human and alive. Now, astrology works on similar grounds of metaphoric double dutch because on the one hand, the planets truly are embodying archetypes in our solar system, truly are bringing in those archetypal realities. And in another way, astrology is a metaphoric language of archetypes. And with any of these processes of divination, I think it truly comes down to what language is useful for you. And I seem to find that Western astrology is a useful language for me, that it provides a kind of traction in the way that we know that these archetypes are embedded in our consciousness. And so the traction of this archetypal language helps me kind of particle accelerate these archetypal symbols together in order to gain greater understandings in myself, in others, in historical moments, and in these great Maharaja cyclical processes that we're all a part of. And that different languages are useful for different people. I was in the Caribbean and I saw this woman who was doing a ceremony throwing chicken bones. And for her, the images that would come out of throwing these chicken bones was a useful language for finding symbols and creating that traction for her to interpret things. I also went and had a tarot reading, and I very quickly understood that this woman throwing out tarot cards was just playing with the universe expressing itself as itself in that moment, playing with what symbols chose to make themselves available for her to interpret the dynamics of the field, to interpret the dynamics of consciousness and evolution that were present between her and me at that moment, and that her throwing out these cards was her gaining traction for generating symbols of interpretation that might want to emerge in that moment as signposts that would be useful in the process that wanted to happen between us. Now, I love this view of living and moving through the universe because it makes me feel as though all of creation is there to help me, is there to help you with your Akashic spring cleaning, that all of the universe is conspiring to help you in being your own composer of consciousness and your evolutionary process, so that all of it, plants, birds, trees, chicken bones, tarot, your friends, your marriage, the stars, the planets, the universe, the whole hologram itself is here to help you. So open your arms, catch the stars, the planets, embrace them. Embrace this metaphoric double Dutch. Embrace yourself in the beauty, bliss, growth, and gratitude that you are. Dope.